Vamos a presentar una resolución.
Speaking to a crowd of pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered outside of the United Nations General Assembly, the president of Colombia made a polarizing call to action.
Global force has to be bigger than that of the United States. That's why from here, from New York, I ask all the soldiers of the Army of the U.S. not to point their guns at people, disobey the orders of Trump, obey the orders of humanity.
Gustavo Petro, who's previously clashed with the Trump admin on migration and drug trafficking, telling U.S. forces to defy the president while calling for an armed force to free Palestine. The words prompting the White House to announce it would be revoking the Colombian leader's U.S. visa. In a social media post, the U.S. State Department said Petro urged U.S. soldiers to incite violence, adding that his actions were reckless and incendiary. Petro shot back online, likening Trump to the mafia and Hitler. He also wrote, quote, "International laws grant me immunity to go to the UN, and there should be no reprisals for my free opinion." The visa decision further strains ties between Washington and Bogota, which prior to Trump's second term in office was the U.S.'s most reliable South American ally on national security and defense. The start of the relationship decline began when Colombia blocked the landing of 2 U.S. military flights of deported migrants, accusing Washington of treating them like criminals. That tension only deepening with the escalation of the war and humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Trump not only lets missiles fall on young people in the Caribbean, he not only imprisons and chains migrants, but he also allows missiles to be launched at children, young people, women, and the elderly in Gaza. He becomes complicit in genocide because it is genocide, and we must shout it again and again.
At the UN earlier this week, Petro accused Trump of complicity in genocide while also blasting his immigration raids. Despite the clash, the U.S. does still provide funding to the Andean nation. In a statement, U.S. officials say, quote, "Although Colombia has failed demonstrably over the past year, U.S. assistance to the country is vital to the national interests of the United States."
Now, Petro found out about his visa being revoked while on board a flight heading back to Colombia. It's unclear if the decision prompted him to leave the U.S. earlier than expected. The State Department has yet to comment on whether or not the revocation will affect future visits. But Petro says he, quote, "does not care," as he holds European citizenship, meaning he does not need a visa for U.S. travel. For City News, I'm Karling Donoghue.